Fine. So if you see, while creating, we have seen how do we create, right? And it's already integrated inside the Postman and it simplifies our life. But, one caveat is there that those services must be available and you should be capable of creating stub request and the corresponding response for it for every endpoint, though you can take help of environmental variables so that, you can provide path URL as per your wish. Now we'll spend little time in understanding how actually we can go ahead and we can plan our virtualization and select the tool. So that's what is the objective. If you see what it is, just a recap quickly, modeling of virtual service process and the imaging of software service behavior to stand in for actual service during development, right? So it's a standby, right? A fake, I've told, a mock. Never get confused with this term called virtualization, because virtualization is a term where we get confused with hardware virtualization, network virtualization, CPU virtualization, right? You don't think of that. It's a platform as a service, right? When we say platform as a service, basically it is server, which intercepts your request that may come in different packets following different protocols. A duplicate of all the real service complex logic. So never get confused that, oh, it's a duplicate of all the service complex. No, it's an interface, okay? And it is based on stub and it is based on sample responses. Prediction of future behavior, never. And a replacement for any of your middleware. Okay, no, it's not a replacement for your middleware. It is just an ad hoc arrangement that you're doing to facilitate your test and QA engineers so that there is no showstopper in testing a particular component. And it fits in TDD, like test driven development, where you first write the test and then you fail the test and then you write the logic. So while writing it, you can always go and you can use virtualized service. Who will use it and for what? Development, do more with less, deliver fast, deliver quality, remove barriers, right? Test automation, no throwaway code, dev constraints are removed. Testing increases quality, zero defect, real world test early and often. Test automation, again, test data management, test constraint removal, and DevOps. Integrated toolchain, measurement, enterprise adoption, and best practices. So you can quickly come up with POC. What it facilitates: business in a box, third-party API access, accelerated quality, faster time to market, training environment, and test data management. So these are some of the facilities we have already discussed on it. So I'll not, focus on it. But yes, we need to plan our steps of virtualization. And please understand that this is not a fixed mechanism. Okay, you can derive your own steps. Capture. In capture, what we do, we record traffic between existing system, create from engineering specs, draw from source such as log file, sample. These are the details that you're capturing. Then process, evaluate data and protocol, convert into live-like model. And then finally, after you have done the processing, you have to go with modeling, right? When we say modeling, it is living, breathing, live model, automatic handling for dynamic properties. So these are the three steps, right? But understand, it's not the actual complex service logic which actually you will bring in your virtualization layer. Service virtualization versus stubs or mocks. See, when I say request stubbing, it is part of virtualization, okay? Service virtualization. This stub is something which is related to your Mockito, where you have used a when, then kind. So reduces dependencies and constraints. Yes, all these are part of your service virtualization. All these are supported by service virtualization. But when you are using Mockito or any mocking framework, which you are using to mock behavior of your logic, it's only reduction of dependencies and constraints in application development, nothing related to simulation of environment, scale test, network test. And most of the tools now, provide you wizard-based UI rather than coding, right? So it's more of wizard. Okay, now this is what is something which need to be understood and need to be elaborated as well, so that we are clear with what all are the tools which are available in market. I am just considering those tools here which are heavily used in enterprises. So there are more than 100 tools which exist today in form of open source as well as commercialized. These are some of them which are popular. So let's understand fundamentals of these tools and where actually they fit. So when you talk to vendors, vendor will demonstrate you capabilities. You have to go through all the demonstrations, think of your use cases, and then probably go ahead and adopt. So what all need to be there in your mind when you are actually comparing various different virtualization tools? First, what kind of services you are going to test? Do you have API driven applications, cloud based application, service oriented architecture based applications? What all are the heterogeneous components which you are using? And then identify your pain points. Your pain point can be your live environment is not your own. It is something which is deployed in cloud for which you are being charged for every call. So any service that you are writing, if it needs that service, you will end up spending more. You don't want that. Perfect case of virtualization. Finally, you have to prefer doing proof of concept on the tools that you have selected, and then, take the best one that fits into your environment. Now, if you see, most of the service virtualization tools today are commercial and licensed ones, effective tools when I say. Though you have many tools which falls under category of open source, but kind of facilities which are provided by these commercial and licensed ones are far ahead as compared to open sources. So this is the reason we have to look for simplifying our virtualization, and to simplify our virtualization we need to look for minimalistic coding environment and then compare the tools. So these are some of the tools which are there, like ReadyAPI Virtualization. Company is SmartBear. You have CA Lisa. It is from CA Technologies. Then you have Micro Focus Service Virtualization. Now you know that Micro Focus has merged with HPE, right? Then you have IBM Rational Test Virtualization Server, or it is also called as IBM, Green Hat. One of my favorite tool. Then you have TOSCA, Orchestrated Service Virtualization. Now, this is again one of the popular tools that can be actually used. SOAP UI, Parasoft Virtualize is from Parasoft. Then you have Traffic Parrot, right, which is specifically for microservices. Now we will talk a bit about all these tools before we move further. But I would like to know that what tool you are using if you are working on service virtualization in your company. I'll talk about something here which is very common understanding, and objective is to understand pros and cons, right? But there is always debate, If I say this is cons in CA, and if CA is sitting there, they will come up with an alternative. Similarly, for SmartBear as well. So if you see, ReadyAPI Virtualization is one of the tools provided by SmartBear. What it does, what it offers various tools for API testing, right? That's what is ReadyAPI. I mean, it is a collection of tools. ReadyAPI Virtualization is something which is one of the capability, one of the feature facilitated by ReadyAPI, where you can do API mocking with service virtualization. ReadyAPI claims that it has high performance routing capability that can provide you a mechanism of recording and generating mocks. It also commits that it will provide you fault isolation. Now here, how do we create virtual service in ReadyAPI? Again, it can be created using your API definition. And API definition is where? In the specification document. What specification document? OpenAPI, WSDL. These are the specifications, right? Which actually tells you about that particular service. Not only that, apart from API definition, assume that you don't have API definition. What you can do, you can record and use the existing service. Apart from that, it also says that, see boss, if you are using a ReadyAPI, you can share and deploy virtual services and manage generating mock data as per your wish. It also commits that I'm giving you complete flexibility in terms of behavior configuration. You can also set bandwidth constraints. For example, I want to test whether API call when I'm making to this API is possible with 300 kbps bandwidth or not, right? So you can set bandwidth constraints, you can define response time, error conditions, all those can be defined here. So I'll say that, see, ROS is complete testing flexibility, helps you to generate data on fly, sharing and deploying virtual services on local as well as cloud, and provides you a very simple step-by-step approach in order to create your virtual service. Cons, not very definite, but say, many benchmarks have said that it is a bit slow because again, it's a service, right? User interface is too cluttered, right? So it needs improvement. So these are few of cons, right? Not very definite, but yes, some people will look from usability perspective and user interface perspective as well. This is what is about ReadyAPI. Provides you free trial, you can download and you can do your POC at your end. Then comes CA Lisa. Commercial product. What it does, provides you capability of virtualizing services by helping you to simulate unavailable, missing, or cost related components of a software. Not only that, it allows you to develop, test across teams in parallel. I have also seen that when you're using CA Lisa, you can test and validate anything at any point of time in the life cycle of your development phase. Now, some people are pro CA Lisa because they say that, see, I'm able to fix and find my errors quickly, right, before it goes to production. Now, what all are the pros? See, again, benchmark says that when it comes to a CA service from users who are actually using it, they say that this is the best and topmost tool for service virtualization. When we ask why, they say that, see, it has reduced my system wait time considerably. There are few errors that goes in production and I'm able to deliver it fast. So this brings up all the pros. And first process, virtual setup or setting up virtual service is quick, simple. Virtual services can be created by just giving XML request response pair like we have done in case of Postman. We gave what? Request stub and a response example. You can also go and record and automatically learn response pattern to train your mock server. No deployment and stability issues. Considerably stable platform, so very less downtime. Some people say that customer support and technical support is also quite well. Now that will be told to us who are using. And you can integrate it in your continuous integration tools like Jenkins. You can use Terraform. You can any CI tool that helps you to build end-to-end automation pipeline. Cons, it's heavyweight. And there are some memory leak issues which are identified, and it depends on version of tool that you are using. And UI testing needs improvement. That's what is the comment from the users. Then comes the next one, which is Microfocus service virtualization. This is what was called as HP service virtualization tool also. And again, it's an application and data simulation software that provides capability to team who are engaged in development and testing to mock a service behavior so that delivery does not get impacted. Mock virtualization is one of the prominent features that is provided by this particular tool. It reduces the dependency on the environment, and reducing dependency on environment, believe me, saves a lot. So what are the pros? Scalability, simplified implementation. Simulations are also simple. Step-by-step wizard. No expertise on coding is required. You can go and handle dynamic changes, support multiple technologies, provides logging functionality. A web-based tool, easy integration with micro-focus testing apps like Load Runner, ALM, UFT, and others. And cons, it uses Excel, which is really burdensome for large services, right? It could be better if it has some SQL implementation in place. So these are few things that you have to keep in mind when you are going for this. IBM Rational Test Virtualization Service. I mean to say, I have been working with Rational Suite of IBM, couple of year back, 10-year back or something, and I really loved it. Specifically, its capability of generating code from UML and vice versa. So it means, IBM has been really smart in handling coding as well as the pains of developers. So using this tool, you can again create virtual service for part of system which are not available, can start testing with virtual service and monitor the result on the dashboard. And it extracts the production data and it uses in testing. So your test outcome will be far accurate, improves coverage, reduces risk. And since it is from IBM, it provides support to some of the IBM products like IBM MQ, even integration server. Cons, dependency on various patches because IBM is known for releasing patches. Reporting and dashboarding features can be improved. No one is satisfied ever with reporting of any tool so far. There is always, what if I get this also? So this cannot be actually considered as a constraint. Then comes OSV, that is TOSCA Suite Orchestrated Service Virtualization. It simulates the interaction required for testing. In short, it again learns the expected interactions automatically by listening to the conversation that is happening between AUT and its constraint dependencies. It is considered as one of the good tools because it provides you independent designing capability of test from the available subsystems. Pros, supports lots of definition languages, transport protocol, message formats, and standards. Agile continuous testing, DevOps need, optimize, manage, and automate software, eliminate testing bottlenecks, automatically create test stubs, and strong integration with TOSCA test suite. And TOSCA is the framework that is used for microservices. Cons, choose the tool wisely. Not suitable for small businesses and it is not supported in India. Right. So these are some of them which you can keep in mind. SOAP UI is a popular one and old one where we used to, test SOAP based services, right? We used to take WSDL and then we used to create request, generate response, right? But as time went forward, SOAP UI was also improvised. SOAP UI is again open source API testing tool for SOAP and REST APIs. So SOAP is again a different protocol as compared to REST. REST is HTTP based, but SOAP can be floated over HTTP, over SMTP, over BEEP. There are multiple protocols. REST has uniform resource interface. In SOAP, you are free to create your own interface. So there are some pros and cons of both. But if you want to test your SOAP based or REST based APIs, SOAP UI can be one of the candidates. Apart from that, Pro version of SOAP provides support to service mocking as well, where your SOAP UI will help you to create a replica of the environment, right? Which will work similar to the environment which you are replicating. So these are few things that you need to be aware of. Pros, very intuitive GUI, helps you to mock in a simplified way. You can mock service. You are able to return responses using different methods, which can be cycled, randomized, or deterministic. So it's not static response. Possible to generate initial mocks automatically. Cons, very poor documentation, though I don't feel that it's poor, but as complexity in your service stubbing increases, you may find difficulty in finding the right element for yourself. Sometimes delayed response. And if you are using simulation tool for the first time, then you will have to follow a process of creating mock service in SOAP UI, which is a bit difficult. Parasoft Virtualize, I'm a fan of this. Again, it's a service virtualization product which can be used to build, deploy, and manage replicated test environments. Right? What it replicates? Behavior of dependent resources like database, your web service. You have ERP systems as well. pros past generation of virtual assets because it uses its own service definitions. And that definition is in form of WSDL, Web Service Description Language. Common data usable for other fields, specifically in automation, and it provides you good interface. Right? Not much knowledge required, technical knowledge, because everything is there in platter. You can go and select and use it. Cons, virtual asset has to be redeployed after every update. Improvement could be made in giving reports. And then third is it has only role-based authorization. It could have been data-based authorization as well. So not a complaint, but just suggestion. Then comes traffic Parrot for microservices, specifically designed for microservice service virtualization. Benefits that it provides is unblocks testers and developers, simplified and faster, speed of setting up test data, eliminates need of scheduling time on environments for access. Third-party transaction cost is reduced, performance test is more reliable as compared to others, and makes automated builds run faster. And these are the tools actually which can be selected by you in order to work with that.